It's my sincere pleasure, and thank you everyone for spending your morning or your afternoon with me. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with all of you. And again, my name is Susanne Tedrick, and today I'll be talking about how I got into the tech industry, and I'm hoping that I'll share some things that will be relevant for you if you are thinking of embarking in tech from an early career stage, or if you're looking to make a change after having worked several years in another industry. So about myself, as Elaine mentioned, I am a cloud computing technical specialist for IBM. And what that means is that I help our sales teams as well as our customers really understand what the value and benefit is of the cloud. So for enterprise development teams, helping them to understand the benefit and value of developing applications that were born on the cloud, or for internal operations teams, helping them to understand the cost savings and other benefits that can come with modernizing their existing infrastructure and moving that to the cloud. So just really understanding not only the technical requirements, but the business requirements, and making sure that we get them to their to-be state. I am also a community service advocate. When I'm not working, I do spend a considerable period of time giving my time back to a number of different organizations, like Chick Tech, that organizes the ACW conference, Black Girls Code, and the P-Tech Initiative, which is a 9th through 14th grade program for students to enter into STEM fields and have an associate's degree to get them started. And the other thing that I always tell people is that up until perhaps 5 years ago, I was not working in technology at all. I had worked for a number of years in admin and operations type roles within the financial services industry. And while they paid well, and I made a lot of good friends and good people, it definitely wasn't something that kept me motivated. It wasn't something that really drew my passions, and I wasn't utilizing all of my skill sets and working on all cylinders. And I had no formal tech training. I couldn't code. I couldn't tell you the difference, like what between a container and a Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a small child. Like those are questions I just couldn't answer for you 5 years ago. And so I made the conscious decision that while I had always been interested in tech, that it's something that I should really think about as a career. And I through a lot of hard work and perseverance, this is how I ended up at IBM and with a book deal. And when I talk to people about the things that got me here, I talk about 6 very distinct and specific activities and things that I've done and continue to do to help propel me in my career. As I said, I really didn't know where I wanted to land. I know that I was really interested in tech, but I didn't want to code. I didn't want to code for 80 hours a week. And per my professors at Northwestern, they said that I shouldn't quit my day job to become a coder, which I took in good fun. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out where my interests were, where my passions were, and where they can be best served. So I did a lot of online research. I attended as many industry conferences and seminars that I could. And I made sure to hold a lot of informational meetings with people in positions that I was interested in, because that way I would know right off the bat what exactly the job entailed and whether or not that was something I was going to do for the foreseeable future. And I also made sure to assess my skills on a continual basis. And assessing skills is not only just looking at what your past accomplishments were, but really getting down to looking at your feedback, what you've heard from past employers, managers, people in academic institutions, all of the things that you did well and all of the things that perhaps needed a little bit of improvement. And I thought that this was important because whether you're starting a new career or changing into one, you don't want to go in with blinders on. You want to make sure that you understand not only what your skills are, but where your potential blind sides are and what you may need to work on for your particular career. I thought about gaining skills. And while I took the route of obtaining formal education through Northwestern, I also made sure to augment that skills training with my own self-learning, with online courses, taking part of programs with professional organizations, podcasts, magazines, you name it, and just really being dedicated and diligent about doing that. I like formal education because it gives you the kind of a roadmap of how to build your skills, but it is also important too to find other ways that you can test your skills out. And especially if money is tight or resources are tight, you definitely have to be imaginative and resourceful on how you go about gaining those skills. And then demonstrating value was also very important. Part of demonstrating value is obviously, your resume or your LinkedIn profile, really kind of talking about, the things that you've done and the things that you've accomplished. But when I think about demonstrating value, I think about it a little bit more broadly. And I include this to mean public speaking. I include that to mean writing, and any other online portfolios. I also include things like hackathons, where you have a very short amount of time to accomplish a certain task, or that could also be volunteer work. One of the things that I was really adamant about doing was that partnering with volunteer organizations to really use the skills that I was already learning, so that I wasn't just developing skills in the abstract, that I was really putting them to use and putting them for a good cause. So any places or any types of situations where you can demonstrate value is going to be increasingly important. I've underlined networking because I will have to say that this is the most important skill that you can possibly learn, regardless of whether or not you're going into a tech career or any other career. It is actually through networking that I'm actually talking with you today, which I'm very proud to say. And it has been a very crucial part of my career at IBM. And it's really true what people say, in that it's not what you know only, but it's who you know. It's great to develop skill. It's great to acquire degrees and certificates and other kinds of accolades. But if people don't know that about you, if you're not having those conversations, it's really hard for them to say, oh, I think Susanne would be great for this role, or I think Susanne would be an excellent person to head up this program. So it's really incumbent upon you to network often and in any type of way that you can, be it LinkedIn. And I know that with the unfortunate pandemic, it makes it a little harder to meet in person, but using virtual resources will become increasingly important. So for the social introverts that are out there, I am one of you, and I know how difficult this portion of it can be, but it's not only a critical skill, but you get to know such amazing people and really kind of build up your network. So I strongly encourage that you network as often as you can. And mentoring and coaching were very important. Mentoring, to have that long-term assessment and relationship on where I wanted to be and how to develop those skills. And then very short-term focused coaching on what skills I needed to get better at, and just really concentrate on the exercises and things that were going to get me where I needed to be. And when I look at all of these things, again, these are not things that I did and once and they were done. These are things that I'm still doing in my career now. And, I encourage that in general, when you're approaching getting into tech or any career, that you really think about it as a long-term continuous learning type of endeavor, because you're always going to be growing and you're always needing to get new skills, meet new people to advance in your career. So getting into that mindset of continuous growth and learning, I feel is an incredibly important thing for everyone to do. And with that, I thank you for the time this afternoon. And if anyone would love to, reach out, again, networking, I have all of my social media handles here. And if you have a question or anything that I can answer, please feel free to reach out, because I'm here to help. And I know that it was a lot of people who helped me get here. And if I can help you get to where you need to be, I would love to be able to do so.